Hello, everyone. Welcome to the World Environment Day Festival hosted by Pathway to Paris, 350, and the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. My name is Jessie Paris Smith, and I am a co-founder of Pathway to Paris, and we're so happy you could be with us today. This year, the theme of World Environment Day is protecting our planet's ecosystems and repairing our relationship to nature. So we're going to have an amazing show, amazing festival of music and speakers and activists from all over the world doing amazing things to protect our planet. And the first one we'll hear from is one of the leaders of the climate movement, one of the founders of 350, and someone we are very proud to call our dear friend and collaborator, Bill McKibben.
Hello there. This is Bill McKibben. What a pleasure to join our dear friends at Pathway to Paris in helping to celebrate World Environment Day. In some ways, I'm the wrong person to ask to a happy occasion like this because I can't help but say, at least at the beginning, that of course we're in a very, very, very tough and difficult place. I wrote the first book about climate change more than 30 years ago. And sadly, the things that people were predicting then have come true and more. And we live in a world where we already can feel the pain of people suffering because they've lost their homes to fire or flood or storm by the millions now. And it is a great sadness to look around already and see how much of the beautiful world that we were given is beginning to become tattered and worn. How many of the fellow creatures that we share this planet with have already gone extinct or are on the edge? And so that casts a kind of shadow over any kind of celebration. But it's the kind of shadow that we know how to lift. The good news, and it is very good news, is that as we assemble this year, we understand better than we ever have before what it is that we can do to help pull the planet out of this tailspin and put it on a different course. We know, for instance, that over the last decade, engineers and scientists have managed to bring the cost of solar power and wind power down so dramatically that this is now the cheapest way to let people do the things that they need to do every day, to tap into the power of the sun and the strength of the wind, to take power from above, not power from below. And that's such a remarkable achievement, and we should be so focused on building out all that network as fast as we can to let everybody take full advantage of what's going on. And we know, too, that there are now millions upon millions upon millions of people who are taking to the streets to make all that real. The young students who are going on climate strike, the older people around the world who are working as elders should to help guide our transformation. Increasingly, business people turning from part of the problem to part of the solution. And we need to accelerate that day after day, week after week, month after month, because this is a timed test. If we don't get it right soon, then we never get it right, but we can get it right. And one of the things that allows us to get it right is the possibility of starting to restore ecosystems around the world. This decade of ecosystem restoration could not be closer to my heart because I love so many of the landscapes of this planet and know that so many of them have been damaged but are still full of power. And if we can figure out how to help human beings take a step back, then nature can step forward. What a great honor it is to get to introduce Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, and a man who has worked very hard for rapid action on the climate crisis.
we are rapidly reaching the point of no return for the planet. We face a triple environmental emergency: biodiversity loss, climate disruption, and escalating pollution. For too long, humanity has cut down the Earth's forests, polluted its rivers and oceans, and ploughed its grasslands into oblivion. We are ravaging the very ecosystems that underpin our societies, and in doing so, we risk depriving ourselves of the food, water, and resources we need to survive. The degradation of the natural world is already undermining the well-being of 3.2 billion people, or 40% of humanity. Luckily, the Earth is resilient, but she needs our help. We still have time to reverse the damage we have done. That is why, on this World Environment Day, we are launching the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. This global movement will bring together governments, businesses, and civil society and private citizens in an unprecedented effort to heal the Earth. By restoring ecosystems, we can drive a transformation that will contribute to the achievement of all the Sustainable Development Goals. The task is monumental. We need to replant and protect our forests. We need to clean up our rivers and seas. And we need to green our cities. Accomplishing these things will not only safeguard the planet's resources, it will create millions of new jobs by 2030, generate returns of over $7 trillion every year, and help eliminate poverty and hunger. The United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration is a global call to action. It will draw together political support, scientific research, and financial muscle to massively scale up restoration. And everyone can contribute. Science tells us these next 10 years are our final chance to avert a climate catastrophe, turn back the deadly tide of pollution, and end species loss. Today, let's start a new decade, one in which we finally make peace with nature and secure a better future for all.
I spent much of my life living in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York in the United States, which was the first large-scale example of ecosystem restoration in the world. 100 years ago, the New York State Legislature drew a line around 6 million acres and said, in this territory, people are not going to be the main thing. They're going to be protected for their ecological value. And that land, which had been lumbered over and had horrible forest fire, that land in 100 years has come back so beautifully. And I get to wander in it now and see what's possible, not just here, but all over the world. One of the key things about making that transition, about restoring those ecosystems, is that we pay attention to the people who know how to do it best, who are indigenous people on this planet. They're in the front lines of defense against bad ideas like pipelines and things, but they're also in the front lines of this restoration work, which is why it is such a pleasure for me to get to introduce my old friend, Penny Opal Plant. She comes from that beautiful, beautiful part of the world that we call San Francisco Bay. And she's done more than anybody I know to defend that place against bad development, and also to protect it, to help people see what its possibilities are. So what a pleasure now to turn things over to Penny Opal Plant.
Hi, my name is Penny Opal Plant. This is my husband, Michael Horse, and we're here to celebrate World Environment Day. As Indigenous people, we understand that the climate justice movement is being led around the world by Indigenous women, and there's a reason for that, because we understand that we need to align human laws with the natural laws of Mother Earth, upon whose belly we're all standing or sitting or lying on right now. Aligning the human laws with the natural laws of Mother Earth will prevent corporate harms and other harms from destroying what we all need to simply live. We all need clean air, clean water, clean soil, and we're working for a vibrantly healthy future for all of the generations to come.
It's time to follow the lead of women, especially Indigenous women.
Thank you so much.
Our next performer is Tenzin Chogyal, who is performing from Australia. He is a Tibetan singer and activist, one of the board members of Pathway to Paris, and a longtime collaborator and supporter. So please welcome Tenzin Chogyal.
Tashidele, good day and many greetings to you all. I'm Tenzin Chogyal, a Tibetan artist living in Australia. With Tibet, the roof of the world, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama in my heart, I want to present a little song for you all to enjoy on this World Environment Day. So I hope you will enjoy this little improvised song from all the way from Australia. Okay. Awakened one, listen without distraction. Now that the sign of earth is dissolving into water, water into fire, fire into air, air into consciousness. Coexistence is a fundamental law of nature, and we human beings must develop a greater sense of oneness of humanity. Each of us need to work not only for ourselves, our family, or nation, but for the benefit of the entirety of humanity. If our planet is to be sustained, environmental education and personal responsibility must grow and keep growing. Caring for our environment must become an essential part of our daily life. In the face of global problems such as the warming of our planet, individual organizations and single nations will not be effective. Unless we all work together, no solutions will succeed. So let us all be in this together. Only prayers is not enough. We must put in more effort to put in actions to protect our Mother Earth. In this way, we really can make a happy World Environment Day. So, happy World Environment Day, and many, many greetings to you all.
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Foon and I'm a co-founder of Pathway to Paris, and we're so thrilled to be here with all of you in honor of World Environment Day. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce Ghana's own Rocky Dawuni.
My name is Rocky Dawuni, and today we are here to celebrate. We are here to celebrate World Environment Day. We are also here to celebrate the beginning of a new decade, a decade of restoration. And what other way to celebrate this than to use the power of music? The power of music has the ability to bring us all together and focus us on an important thing, and that is restoring our earth. Right now, there's so much going on. Our earth is suffering. There's so many problems, but we know that there is nothing above our collective will. And today, as we gather here, I want to appeal to all of you that today is the beginning of a new time. Today is the beginning of a time that we go out there and heal this earth. Today is when we make a pledge that our collective, all of us, are going to shine a beacon of light that all generations shall follow. This song I'm playing is a song that is celebrating. It's a song from Africa, and it's meant for all of us to stand together and know that the future is bright together. This song is called Afro Roots Vibration. It be the music that people say that they want. Now it be the new sensation. It be now so way that people won't make we play.
change, this kind of music how they play. Some people today taught me, say, I for no change, I for just make a Africa. So everything we go to do from now, he be the way we go to do. I'm not him go make people go like this now Afro root, he be the new sound way with the take and control African radio. We no go feed they follow other people them music, because we get our own vibration. Because we get our own vibration. Because we get our own vibration. Afro roots vibration. He be the music that people say that they want. I be the new sensation. He be not so way that people won't make we play. Our time don't come, so make we sabi say our culture be our power. So make we go back, then go carry our forefathers the music. So we go take high life music, then we go on reggae music. We go take Afro beat. Now so where we go they do la 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 Right from Africa, people, you hear the feeling right now, you know? Everybody go dey talk say Afro roots. 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 I say everybody go dey talk Afro roots. Hey. Everybody go dey talk Afro roots. Everybody go dey sing Afro roots. Everybody go dey talk Afro roots. Oh, everybody go dey talk Afro roots. Everybody go dey sing Afro roots. Everybody go dey talk Afro roots. Everybody go dey sing Afro roots. Everybody go dey talk. Everybody go dey sing. Everybody go dey talk. Go dey talk.
What a great pleasure it is to get to introduce Inger Anderson, who is working extraordinarily hard as the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program to help bring the world together.
For the second year running, we mark World Environment Day in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as we seek to move from crisis to recovery, we must take deliberate steps to improve human health and the health of the natural world. Because we know that many of the challenges we face stem from the degradation of our land, our soils, our water bodies, our forests, and our oceans. On World Environment Day, along with FAO and partners, we're proud to launch the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Our aim? To prevent, to halt, and to reverse the degradation of ecosystems worldwide. We seek to spur political support, generate science, and mobilize financial resources for the largest ever mass-scale restoration of our ecosystems. In reviving millions of hectares of terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, we will profoundly improve human well-being and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. I am so pleased that Pakistan, as a global host of the World Environment Day this year, will lead the global charge to restore ecosystems on which we all depend. So this World Environment Day, let's all join in, because people and nature can heal together.
Hi everyone, it is now my absolute honor to introduce the one and only Dave Matthews.
When the war is over, we go back to every day, every day. Will it be the same again? When you've been turned inside out and outside in. Sing it from the windows, shadow on the wall, the way they dance. It's not much or nothing, but look at this fire burning bright. Look at how the children play. None of us know what's to come tomorrow, but I'm not going out today. So dance with me like the time we've got is borrowed. Sing it from the windows, sirens in the dark, where are you going? Pretend that it's nothing. Look at this fire burning bright. This is how we keep going on all the days, all day long. And sometimes things just fall apart. No matter how we try, they can't stop. Sing it from the windows, something outside that I don't know. Yeah, when the storm is over, picking up the pieces of every day, like memories in picture frames, just trying to put the inside out and the outside in. Sing it from the windows, walking down the hall, nowhere to go. It'd be good to see you. And I suppose when it's all said and done, this is how we keep holding on all the days, all day long. And sometimes things just fall apart. No matter how we try, they won't stop. Sing it from the windows, voices outside that I don't know. Sing it from the windows, we'll get going again when the war
Thank you, everybody.
Next up, we have Priya Darshini, who is a beautiful singer and activist, and someone I'm very proud to call my friend.
Hi, my name is Priya Darshini, and I'm a musician, but most importantly, I am a part of nature, as are you and all the incredible life forms that this stunning planet holds. We exist because nature exists, from the air we breathe, to the food we eat, to the water that nourishes us. We need nature to survive. To see ourselves as separate from nature is a big mistake, because when we allow for the destruction of nature and all of her beautiful creations, we destroy ourselves. As we experience unprecedented environmental degradation, the current state of the world is proof that we need to be in harmony with the earth. And it is the only way to save ourselves. And so, it has become incredibly imperative that we learn to coexist with all that nature holds, including her incredible wildlife. We are living in a time when the earth is losing wildlife in wild places faster than any time in the last 3 million years. Human activities have caused the world's wildlife populations to plummet by more than 2/3 in the last 50 years alone. If we maintain this path, wildlife species and their unique habitats will disappear forever. Now, as a member of the International Wildlife Coexistence Network, I am continually made aware of the dire need for us to coexist with nature and to proactively work with nature and natural systems instead of against these systems. I now know that not only is it very possible, but imperative that we find coexistence solutions that are mutually beneficial for people and wildlife and build long-term resiliency. Now I ask you today to join me and take a pledge with me to work with nature instead of against her, to live in peaceful coexistence with nature and all of her beautiful beings, and save our world for many future generations to come. I would like to play you a song from my recent record, Periphery, and I will be joined by the incredible Dave Egger on cello and the absolutely beautiful Mag CT on the hammered dulcimer. Thank you.
Loneliest star
shining so brightly for no one to see. Loneliest star, loneliest star, tell me your secret. You shouldn't keep it. Loneliest star. I'd like to now hand over to Yuri Revich. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone. Welcome to our planet.
Dreams
speak different languages, we come from the different parts of our world, but we have all actually the same country. It's our planet. And love for our planet and music unites us.
It is now my absolute honor to introduce the Mayor of Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti.
Hello, I'm Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. Thank you to my friends at the United Nations Environment Program, Pathway to Paris, and 350.org for bringing us together to celebrate World Environment Day and the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. A global movement to chart a green and just future is building momentum as cities around the world are stepping up their climate ambition and their climate action. Here in Los Angeles, we're rebuilding healthy soil in our parks and public lands, repurposing our rain and stormwater, and electrifying our infrastructure while we protect more than 4,000 species that are native here to LA. And Los Angeles has created a dedicated biodiversity index, modeled after Singapore's approach, but tailored specifically to our city to monitor our efforts to maintain zero net loss in our native biodiversity. Our choices and policies on the local level and our cooperation globally will make the difference this decade. And I urge you, join us, because restoring our ecosystems requires all of us, and every action counts. Together, we will create a sustainable future that leaves no one behind. Thank you.
I'm pleased to introduce my great friend, Michael Stipe.
This is a song that I wrote with Aaron Dessner. Here we go. No time for breezy, no time for arguments, no time for love like now. There's no time in the bardo, no time in the in-between, no time for love like now. There's no time for dancing, no time for undecideds, no time for love like now. Where did this all begin to change? The lockdown memories can't sustain this glistening, hanging free fall. I turned away from the glorious light. I turned my head and cried. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. There's no time for honey, no time for psalms and thresholds, whisper sweet prayer sigh. Where did this all begin to change? The lockdown memories can't sustain this glistening, hanging free fall. I turned away from the glorious light. I turned my head and cried. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. Your voice is echoing love, 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 love. I hear it far, far away. And I am waiting for you. I am waiting for you. Whatever waiting means in this new place, I am waiting for you. Yes, I am waiting for you. I am waiting for you.
Presenting next is Rima Fujita, a beautiful artist and writer from Japan.
Hello, my name is Rima Fujita. I'm a visual artist, and my picture book of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is about to come out next week. He's an icon of peace, and he deeply cares about our planet. So I wanted to share a quote from this book. It's a beautiful quote by His Holiness. We human beings are social animals, and no one can live without love and compassion. I ask you to cultivate compassion, because by doing so, you will be happier. If you wish happiness only for yourself, you will never be happy, because everything is interconnected and interdependent. You cannot be happy alone while others are suffering, because we are all one. Now I want to translate this into Japanese. 私たち人間は社会的動物です。ですから愛と思いやりの心なしでは生きていきません。思いやりの心を育んでください。なぜならそうすることによってあなたはより幸せになるからです。自分だけの幸せを願っていても人間は決して幸せになれないのです。なぜならすべてはつながっていて依存し合っているからです。皆が苦しんでいるときに自分だけが幸せにはなれません。私たちは一つの存在なのですから。Happy World Environmental Day. Let's work together for this planet. And now let me introduce you Patrick Watson.
Hi everybody, I'm very happy to be here, and I would like to wish everybody a happy World Environment Day, and I'm going to be playing a song called To Build a Home, and it's a little something like this. There is a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls, and window sills, tables and chairs walk by all of the dust. This is a place that I don't feel alone. This is a place that I call my home. And I built a home.
from you. And now it's time to leave and turn to dust. And in the garden where we planted the seeds, there is a tree as old as me. By the cracks of his skin, I climbed to the top. I climbed the tree to see the world. When a gust of wind came to blow us down, held on as tightly as you held on to me. Held on as tightly as you held on to me. And I built a home for you, for me, until you did disappear from me, from you. And now it's time to leave and turn to dust.
Hello everybody, I'm here to wish you all happy World Environment Day, and I'm here to announce two very lovely people, Becky and Karin. They're very, very sweet, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful time, and take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
It is my pleasure to present Joseph Zain Sikulu.
Malo et alava mehia honi. It is a real honor to be joining you today as a part of this incredible lineup and also representing the fierce network of young Pacific powerhouses spread across the entire globe known as the Pacific Climate Warriors. I'd first like to start by acknowledging a few truths. There is no justice in the climate crisis without a commitment to dismantling the systems of white supremacy that marginalize and destroy the lives of Indigenous, Black and marginalized communities of color. There is no justice for climate without addressing the systemic extraction, harm and violence towards Indigenous, Black and racialized communities. And around the world, Indigenous, Black and racialized communities are the ones hardest hit by the climate crisis. When we are having conversations around restoration and recovery, those conversations must first start with the communities who have bared the brunt of the destruction that has been caused with the climate crisis. The communities that have contributed the least to the climate crisis and also the communities with the most to lose. Indigenous communities all over the world have for longer than anyone else risen to fight to protect their land, their ocean, their waterways, and the stories, the culture, and the livelihoods that are connected to them. The extraction and the destruction of Indigenous land has accelerated the climate crisis that also threatens the lives and livelihoods of Indigenous people. Our fights are connected. Our stories are intertwined, and when you connect the dots between the extraction of fossil fuels and the impact it has on the climate crisis, you will find a trail of money that flows from the world's biggest banks, financial institutions and investors directly into the pockets of the world's biggest polluters. That's why we must come together to work to cut the flow of money to the fossil fuel industry. Restoration and recovery can only begin when we have done everything we can to keep global warming to below 1.5 degrees. The science is clear on this, and it is part of the Paris Agreement. Every nation has set clear targets in order to achieve it, but we are falling behind. Rather than invest in the transformative systems that can transition our economies and communities into cleaner, more sustainable futures, governments around the world continue to pour billions and billions into the expansion of the fossil fuel industry. That's why we must come together now to work to cut the flow of money to this extractive industry. As we head towards this year's climate negotiations, young Pacific people all over the world will be looking to hold the world's governments and financial institutions to account. The future of our islands depends on us keeping global warming to below 1.5 degrees, and this year, governments and financial institutions must answer to the targets they have set, step up their ambition and build a framework that flows money into the communities that need restoration and recovery. This year, as we head towards Glasgow, we will continue to fight for 1.5, and if you listen out over the Pacific Ocean, you will hear a united voice of our young people rising up to the challenge that is protecting our homes. A voice united in yelling out for the world to hear that we are not drowning, we are fighting. Thank you for your time, and it is a great honor to introduce and also to make space for Ugandan activist, the National Coordinator for the Rise Up movement, the incredible Evelyn Archam. Malo apito.
Greetings to you all. My name is Evelyn Acham. I'm a climate activist from Uganda. I'm happy to be speaking with all of you today. I started doing activism in late 2019. Several experiences brought me here. Growing up in a tropical country that experiences 2 seasons, the rainy and dry seasons, I thought this was a norm globally. The education system did not do me justice. It simply brushed on the surface. It did not teach us about climate education. Much as the government is trying, it does not provide enough accountability about climate change. It simply brushes on the surface. What hit the nail in the head was seeing my friend and colleague Vanessa Nakate do her individual strikes on the streets of Kampala. This pushed me to do more research and do some online courses about climate change. And I also had several conversations with her. My discovery led me to understand that climate change was one of the challenges that our community was facing. Our community is already experiencing the impacts of climate change. We see disasters everywhere we look, like prolonged droughts, which are drying up our crops and threatening food production, leaving the poor and vulnerable communities with just a meal a day or nothing at all to eat. devastating floods which are destroying people's homes and livelihoods and property, rising water levels like last year, Lake Victoria levels rose and submerged homes, properties and homes, businesses and people's facilities. We see landslides in the west and eastern part of our community. Torrential rains have also destroyed people's crops and homes, amplifying already existing challenges the marginalized groups are facing, like discrimination, poverty, and inequality. For example, women are usually responsible for putting food and water on table for their families, but again the climate crisis worsens this by causing them to move long distances looking for water and food to feed their families and exposing them to risks of violence like physical and sexual violence, and also risks of trafficking as they are resting in temporary shelters. We also see that girls are often the first to drop out of school during a disaster because they have to look for money for their families, they have to do house chores, they have to take care of their siblings. Girls are also being given away for marriage in exchange for wealth. Indigenous communities are usually located in places and ecosystems which are most vulnerable to climate change, and the climate change disaster is only forcing them to lose their lands by migrating from their locations to other locations, exposing them to discrimination, and they also lose their connection and attachment they have towards nature. But again, with all these disasters, we see no action. The fossil fuel industry continues to invest in coal and oil. Our governments continue to ignore the crisis. Financial institutions continue to disappoint us by investing in the fossil fuel industry. But through system change, we can save our present and our future. We have the solutions that need to be implemented, and this needs to start now. Governments and financial institutions need to start investing in renewable energy to recover a world with clean air, clean water, and a clean environment. We want a world where the people and the planet are put above profit, because money will be useless on a dead planet. A world without the fossil fuel industry. We want a just recovery for our planet. Thank you so much for listening to me. And next, I would like to introduce the incredible musician, Ben Harper. I'm so grateful that he is joining us.
Hi, my name is Ben Harper. Jesse, thank you so much for having me a part of this wonderful event. Thank you for all the incredible work that you do and for the beautiful music that you make. Thank you for inspiring me. The song's called Heavy Hearted World. It's Christmas morning in the psych ward. There's a flight risk today, so a nurse guards the door. There's a man in the corner who sounds just like me, rambling on about Times Square New Year's Eve. If I could only forget what I'm supposed to know. If I could only keep from sinking so low. Strap me down and into the void I was hurled, with nowhere else to turn in this heavy-hearted world. Traded our rage for broken bones, traded our fear for some place to call home. fear and the memory of painful youth. It prepared us for the painful truth. So gather only what's sacred, summons all of your courage, and walk with me into this heavy-hearted world. Up next is Jerome Foster. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jerome Foster II. I am the Executive Director of 1 Million of Us, which is an international youth education, advocacy, and voting organization. I also serve on the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council, which works to make sure that we're investing in frontline communities and also that we're delivering climate justice on a nationwide and also international scale. Today on World Environment Day, I want to talk about how we care about nature, how we invest in nature, and also how we invest in communities that have taken care of nature for thousands of years, and how we invest in and listen to that knowledge and take away from it in a way that allows us to be able to heal from this climate crisis. And also, as we've seen over the past year, the COVID-19 pandemic has showed how a crisis can impact our lives, and how when we aren't aware of the inefficiencies or ineffectiveness of our society in some ways, then we become vulnerable. And that's the same thing as the climate crisis. Right now, we've seen young people sacrifice their education, sacrifice so many things for older generations who are disproportionately impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. And because of that, we came together and we're able to be able to heal from it. And that's the same thing that we're talking about when we talk about the climate crisis. When we think about who is most disproportionately impacted by the climate crisis, it's women, it's people of color, it's indigenous people, and it's young people. So when we talk about when we need to invest in climate justice and invest in climate solutions, that's a similar parallel when we talk about the pandemic that we're already in right now. And especially on World Environment Day, when we pay honor to the earth and pay honor to the natural systems around us, we can see that we aren't taking care of it and that we're actively destroying it. And if we want to move from a system of market-based exploitation of our environment to equity-based investment in solutions, that's really the key, is making sure that we're including people in the conversation and including indigenous people, not just on social media and on platforms like this, but at the decision-making table, and also in places where we can invest in the solutions, just like in California. Like right now, we see that forest fires have raged there for years and years and years, but when they listened to indigenous people, they understood the solution. And they understood that when we actually look at the people that have been in tune with nature and that have understood the natural cycles, we're able to return to that system. And that's really what's happening right now with the climate justice movement, is looking at where do we move from here. Right now, we're at a space of continual erosion and continual destabilization of our climate due to the fact that we've disregarded the importance of nature and we've disregarded the importance of our environment. And that's facing horrible impacts on people in the global south, and also we're seeing it in the United States. We like to have conversations as the United States and in Europe, thinking that we can insulate ourselves from this crisis, but we can't. This is a global issue, and if we want to solve this on a global scale, we can't solve it with nationalism. We can't solve it with isolationism. It's solved with intersectional, cross-sectoral, intergenerational, intergovernmental solutions. And now for the next speaker, I want to introduce Jordan Sanchez. She is a phenomenal poet. She is an organizer. She studies physics at Harvard University, and she looks to invest in communities. So I'd like to introduce her as the next speaker, and thank you for listening. Happy World Environment Day.
Have you ever seen time fly? Watch it slip through your fingers like a cloud passing by. Too slow to notice it leaving, too fast to make it stop. All we've known is to destroy like it's breathing. The pitter-patter of raindrops match the sounds of clocks counting down. Tick, tick. How lucky we are to live. We are a fraction of a second in Earth's lifetime, yet she is our only lifeline. Resilient, we stand on our own 2 feet. I'll tell you, reimagining the future has never tasted so sweet. Like nectar to a bee, honey to a home. No one can do this alone. Tick. The promise of restoration lives within us. We see her in the hues of the youth, and she's asking you, what will you stand for? Now is the time for our regeneration.
Hey, coming up next is my dear friend, Jack Johnson.
Hey, aloha, I'm Jack Johnson, and I'm here to wish you a happy World Environment Day and a bright future where we all put importance on restoring our ecosystems that we all depend on. This is an old song called Gone. I hope you dig it. Well, look at all those fancy clothes, and these could keep us warm just like those. And what about your soul? Is it cold? Is it straight from the mold and ready to be sold? And cars and phones and diamond rings, bling bling, those are only removable things. And what about your mind? Does it shine? Are there things that concern you more than your time? Gone, going, gone, everything gone, give a damn. Gone be the birds if they don't wanna sing. Gone people, all awkward with their things. Gone. And look at you out to make a deal. You try to be appealing, but you lose your appeal. And what about those shoes you're in today? They'll do no good on the bridges you burnt along the way. Oh, you willing to sell anything, gone with your herd. Leave your footprints and we'll shame them with our words. Gone people, all careless and consumed. Gone, gone, going, gone, everything gone, give a damn. Gone be the birds if they don't wanna sing. Gone people, all awkward with their things. Gone. Happy World Environment Day.
It's now my great joy and privilege to introduce Patti Smith, accompanied by Jackson Smith and Jesse Paris Smith.
Happy World Environment Day. Ours is just another skin, simply slips away. You can rise above it, it will shed easily. It all will come out fine. I've learned it line by line. One common wire, one silver thread, all that you desire rolls on ahead. Like a ship in a bottle, held up to the sun, sails ain't going nowhere. You can count everyone until it crashes onto the earth, simply slips away. You disappear, and I will come out fine. I've learned it line by line. One common wire, one silver thread, all that you desire rolls on ahead. Ours is just a craving and a twist of the wrist. We'll undo the stopper and abrupt tenderness. Die, little sparrow, and awake singing, and I will come out fine. I've learned it line by line. One common wire, one silver thread, all that you desire rolls on ahead.
And now I'm proud to introduce our last performer, Tomas Dunker.
I was dreaming in my dreaming of an aspect bright and fair. And my sleeping, it was broken, and my dream, it lingered there in the form of shining valleys where the pure air recognized. My senses newly open, I awaken to the cry that the people have the power to redeem work of fools upon the meek. The grace will shower, 'cause it's decreed the people rule. People have the power. People have the power. The people have the power. The people have the power. All the usual suspects seeking vengeance were bending low as they could go. Could not match the people's power for compassion, don't you know? And the armies ceased advancing because the people had their ear. All the shepherds and the soldiers, they walked together without fear through the hills and shining valleys, hand in hand, realized that their senses were newly open. Together they could ride. The people have the power. People have the power. People have the power. Yes, they do. The people have the power. They've got the power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the earth from food. We have the power. Yes, we do. People have the power. Oh, no, it's true. Yeah, power to the people. Right on, right on. And I said power to the people. Right on. Sing it again. And I said power to the people. Yeah. Right on, right on. And I said power to the people. Yeah, yeah. Right on, right on. Power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the earth from fools. We have the power. Yes, we do. People have the power.
Thank you all for watching. Happy World Environment Day.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today in honor of World Environment Day. What a beautiful day of music, of connection. It's so incredible and inspiring to see the amazing work being done on the ground to preserve, protect, restore our incredible ecosystems. And an enormous thank you to all the beautiful performers and speakers and activists who joined us, and to the implementers and restoration leaders taking action on the ground. And of course, a big thank you to the United Nations Environment Program, to 350.org, to Pathway to Paris. And we want to invite you all to join Generation Restoration and the global movement to restore our world, because if we will truly succeed, it takes all of us to create a sustainable, just world for ourselves and for future generations. Thank you so much, and happy World Environment Day.